to the Philippines for about 2.5 weeks. I went there initially for a conference, the Asia Conference of Business as a Mission, which is an international organization of Christian businessmen that create businesses in areas that are either economically challenging or where Christ is illegal to be preached. And I'll discuss a little bit about the commission, the convention for briefly here, and what I learned from it. That's my overall impressions of why I went to the Philippines and my experience with it. I went to the Philippines back in 18 and 19, so it was not my first time in the Philippines. For my first time since September of 19. And so I noticed some changes though, which was on the security level. This time I noticed that there were a lot of guards on the street corners with assault rifles to protect their bodies or shotguns, as well as sniffer dogs walking around. Something I did not see in 19. So it was very interesting on understanding why that was. And I think that while I was there in 19, Duarte was the president of the Philippines. And Duarte had a reputation of being very tough on criminals, to the point where basically people thought he had extrajudicial executions of criminals, okay, especially drug runners. He got his reputation when he was governor of Davao, which we pronounce as Davao in the United States, but actually the correct pronunciation is Davao, which is on the island of Mindanao, which is has a lot of issues with Muslim extremists. But when he was president, talking to taxi drivers and their version of Uber drivers, they all felt that he was very good on crime and security, whereas the current president, which is now Ferdinand Marcos' son, is not. That's their vision. And someone told me that, he told me that, one driver said that, has a big impact when you see a drug dealer dead on the street. So, given our judicial system here, that's a little bit extreme, right? But that's their perspective back there, among the taxi drivers and their version of Uber drivers. The current administration is more, I won't say softer, but they're more in line with how we do justice here. But unfortunately, because of that, crime has exploded here, as I've heard. And that's why they have all the additional security people there. For example, when I walk in the hotel room, I have to go through a metal detector and be slightly tapped down. Okay, we go into a mall, same thing. Okay, that was not the case back in 19.
Is that any public place?
What?
Any public place?
Yes.
It's not that officials or anything. They're just.
Well, basically, I think what they've done is that there are private security firms that are outsourcing, are being hired by, like the malls or the hotels, but they look like cops.
Oh.
Okay. So it's kind of hard to tell who's the real cop, who's not. But where I stayed at most of the time was in a place called Taguig. Taguig is a small city within Manila. Now, Manila is like LA County. Okay, Manila's at more like a county level. Within Manila, you have a lot of different little cities inside of that. Metro Manila is the largest city in Manila. Okay, like LA City is the biggest city within LA County. Same concept, okay. And then we have Culver City, which is the city within Manila. And within that, you have Taguig, which is a community, which is a manufactured city they're making to be a major economic hub for the Philippines. It's very clean, very safe. I run every morning. A lot of people up there running in the mornings. Or a group of people doing internet dances as a group and while being filmed. You know, it's very interesting. So it was really, I never saw that side of Manila. I always saw Metro Manila, which was more of a third world country type thing, big city, third world country, okay? Whereas the gig is more, someone explained to me at the conference, it's more like Singapore is. So I thought it was very interesting. But anyway, also when I was there, I went through a typhoon, and my first typhoon, it kind of messed my plans up. I stayed in the hotel longer than I wanted to. And I went down, and I saw, I was running hard, so I think it was that big of a deal. And I mentioned to the front desk that I wanted to taxi to go someplace, and he goes, "Are you nuts?" So it doesn't look bad out there. Well, apparently because the gig is surrounded by high rises, it acts as a wind buffer. So I didn't see the full effects of the typhoon. Whereas the rest of the places around there would be flooded and a disaster. So I couldn't go to Leyte, which is has a major national park where MacArthur landed when he delivered the Philippines during World War II. MacArthur is a major national hero in the Philippines. And where he landed and the battle took place after that is a major national park right now. If I want to see it, but next time I'll go back there, I'll see that. But anyway, to talk about business and mission and what it is, okay. The vision is to witness in the marketplace faithfully to fulfilling the Great Commission to impact nation for God's glory. The whole purpose is to have business there to improve the economy of people in the area by hiring people and being personally involved in their lives. Okay, and you preach Christ to the underprivileged by first feeding, not necessarily feeding them, but teaching them how to fish, so to speak, or giving them jobs. Okay, increasing their lifestyle. Then they're more open to hearing about the gospel. And as a token, as we do this, we do it in a way that glorifies God. Okay. The mission, so the vision is to witness to the marketplace faithfully. Okay. Now, it could be the marketplace, could be having your own business, or it could be an employer, or an employee, that is. Okay. Employee or a business person, either way, you're in the marketplace. Okay. The emphasis is a bit different, but the concept is the same. So an employee can be part of the BAM movement and how you are in the office. That's how I work. Now the mission is to unite, love, and encourage, strengthen, and serve one another as fellow Christian business owners in our journey together towards godly stewardship. Okay. Again, part of being part of BAM is also to encourage other businessmen doing the same thing. Okay. Can you show one of the?
Which one?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah, that guy. This is the guy I sat at my table. We all get assigned tables during the convention. And for some reason, they put me in the front with all the speakers. I don't know why, but they did. All right.
Because you're special.
I guess, I don't know. But anyway, he's from Malaysia. Now, we had people there from Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, India, Pakistan, okay, all over the the Asia area. Not so much China. Well, Hong Kong was there, but not necessarily China or Taiwan or Japan. Now, one thing that's noticed there is there's a big issue of government corruption in all these areas except for Singapore and Hong Kong. Okay, and they're all dealing as business people dealing with government corruption. For example, if you're audited by, say, their version of the RRS, they're audited, all right. The RRS will come in and have extreme assessment against the business. They negotiate with the IRS auditor by giving some money under the table. That's common in Asia, all right? And as a business people, we don't want to be involved in that. So they made a determination as a Christian business person not to be involved in giving bribes or being part of that whole thing. And this guy here, he owns a wire manufacturing facility in Malaysia. Okay, does pretty good. Okay, he's also on the board of directors of a Christian college in Malaysia. Now, Malaysia is a Muslim country where preaching Christ is illegal, but you can live your faith out if you want to in the open. All right, so that's why you can have a Christian college in Malaysia. All right, but he has a reputation, a bad reputation among the tax authorities, because he will not give a bribe. So anytime people comes up and say his return to be audited, they take lotteries to see who's the unlucky person to have his audit. Because they know he will not give a bribe. They also know he's a Christian too.
But then does he get fined from the...
He does everything squeaky clean.
Oh, so they do it to avoid audit, not because they found something.
Well, sometimes
necessarily.
sometimes they come in and give this crazy assessment for no reason whatsoever. And you try to bring them down, all right? But how hard you work, you know, if your books are squeaky clean, hard for them to find anything wrong. You know, humans are humans. People make mistakes, right? Okay. But he makes sure his books are totally clean, doesn't do anything illegal, does not take any money on the table. He reports everything and pays his tax. Okay. He doesn't play the game. Yeah, they know it, and the fact that you don't want to audit him, but they have to audit him. So he has a reputation. As a Christian, though, people will talk to him about the daughter, talk to him about what's going on, why are you doing this? So he has an impact on the government officials in Malaysia. While it's not legal for him to preach Christ, he's able to do so by them talking to him, by his testimony. How about the other person? Now, Jim Malaya, he's a Filipino. What he does, his father was a technocrat under Ferdinand Marcos. And he had a pretty good life as a kid, okay? But when Ferdinand Marcos left power, he lost everything. Okay, I don't know the story behind that, but the family lost everything. Okay, so they were poor, all right, when he was in high school. Okay, but him and his brothers were able to get by scholarships and grants. They were to go to the United States and get a Yale and a Princeton degrees. He had a pretty good career in the United States for 20 years. He's gone back to the Philippines though, and what he has is a company that provides electricity and light to areas in the Philippines that have no electricity and no light. There are 25 million people in the Philippines have no electricity and no light. Because of the terrain in the Philippines. See, the Philippines is nothing more than a bunch of islands together, all right? So they can't have laid ground like electrical wiring we have here, okay, the power, all that, because of the typhoons and because of the terrain, all right? It's very impossible, very difficult to do that. But he has a product that is solar powered, that has a big light for the house, has a radio in it, so people there can hear typhoon warnings, and they can charge their cell phones. Okay? This thing is a life-changing for people who get it. There's one person, there's one farmer he talked about. He sells fruit, okay? But there's a bat that eats fruit, and 40% of his crop is destroyed every year by the fruit bats. He put the light out there, scares them away, now his income's doubled. Okay. There are also edge case problems out there as well of children accidentally drinking propane or things like that, because they used to have light, have burning candles or lamps. Okay. Now with the light in there, that's done away with. Okay. It's all for one. They all pay for it, but it has a payment structure where they can pay very little every month over a period of time, and therefore they can afford it. And it's all for one. Their life improves, like the farmer, his crop increases, they buy another one. So I'll buy solar power. And he has put 100,000 of people homes right now. No. Yeah, 150,000 homes he's also given this light to. So his view is trying to change these lives for the better, one home at a time. Okay. And he's really passionate about that. He's really passionate about that. And also, he's also able to hire people to be sellers of this thing. Or actually go around village to village telling people what the thing's available. So he has to give jobs to people as well. Like one of the lower income level people out there are people who ride these tricycles. You can, in the Philippines, you have the rapid transit system in the Philippines is either a jeepy, which is a form of a U.S. World War II Jeep with a back modified to be like a truck, and people just pile in there. Okay, I tried to do it once, and I'm too big for it. But there's that. He has to have motorcycles, what they call Skylab, because the motorcycle would have a board across it, and you have 7 people on the motorcycle, sitting on the board, sitting in the back, and I saw one with the father holding the baby on his head. Okay. And also they have these tricycles. With a guy on a bike, there's a little cab in the back, you can put 1 or 2 people in the back. Okay. Those people get very little wages. They're poverty, all right. The lower of the framework of the economic scale there. He's able to bring their lifestyles up by hiring them as being workers for his company. Therefore, he's able to change their lives. So he's very passionate about that.
Great.
But like I said before, is that because of they're all determined to do business without being involved in the corporate corruption, which is very hard to do. I had a lunch with one guy, a CPA, in Manila, and we talked, we trade notes now, the difference between his practice and my practice. And he said a lot of CPAs go out of business because they don't want to deal with corruption. And so he's gotten hit on them. He has 11 people working for him. He's doing quite well. But these people refuse to go along with corporate corruption as business people, as Christians, but yet God is honoring them and prospering them and provide that. But they all need to come together and support each other. So the mission there is that, to help support each other. Okay. Now the framework for a mission as a mission, business as a mission, or we call BAM short, is the framework is business is intended to make profits for the purpose that is aligned with God's redemptive and missional purpose, while taking care of people, employees and customers, fulfilling the Lord's command to love our neighbor, while taking care of the planet, being responsible stewards of what the Lord has given us. So that's the 4 P's. Profits, to help people, to take care of people, for the purpose of taking care of people and the planet. Now, the Philippines is a third world country, all right, and they're working really hard to change that. The business people I talked to at the convention, they really like the new President Marcos because he's really good for the economy, regional regulation, and trying to deal with corruption. He's not that far along with it yet, but they're seeing a big improvement on that. Okay. But still, we have some issues there with pollution, much worse there than here, and they really are trying to work on it. As an example of the problem they're dealing with is that the Port of Manila, you go down there and it seems like you go to Santa Monica. That's what it looks like on the outside. Okay. When you get down there though, it smells. Because of the other bay. All right. Can you show me the pictures of? There we go. When I went down to Davao, towards the end of my trip, this is a picture of my room, out the window of my room. Okay, nice bay. Okay, well, it looks very inviting, but I was told I can't go in there because it's blue. Okay, so they're trying to deal with this. Okay, so part of the band's mission is to help clean this stuff up. Now, the core values of business of mission, or BAM, is biblical, authentic, and missionary. Biblical means that the Bible is our only authority of our faith. This is the ultimate guide of our practices, principles, and action and decisions. Authentic, we walk our talk. Okay. Missionarial, we affirm the call of business to take care of people in God's creation. Now, the strategy of business and mission is fellowship, which is face-to-face activities and gatherings. Now, one thing that's different in the Philippines versus here is that a lot of these businesses in the Philippines, at the BAM conference, they have like Bible studies beginning of each day. They have prayer meetings at the beginning of each day. They're open on their faith. They're open on talking about their faith to the employees. Here in the United States, I cannot do that, or I'll get sued. So they're more open in that area. They're way more open than we are on being able to share your faith with the employees. As a result, they're able to speak into the lives of the people. If they're going through some problems, the employer can help them. Either by counseling or by whatever, okay? So they can make some real life changes in their employees. Mentoring is another strategy. Mentor the people. I have an employee in Davao, okay? That's one thing I did was one to learn soccer. And what we try to do, what we want to do is mentor her professionally, mentor her personally, okay? Sharing my experience, my knowledge with her, making her a better employee. Now, God forbid she leaves for another job that's better than me, all right? But that's okay. I'm making her a better person, a better employee, a better accountant, okay? And matter of fact, she does the bookkeeping for the church here, and I encourage you to watch our services as well.
She's really sweet. I'm just talking with
Another strategy is practicing what we preach, walk the talk, application of the teachings, and modeling. Be Christ-like. Try to model what we're supposed to be like as what Christ is like. It's kind of hard. It's a big calling. I don't always do it right, but that's our goal. Okay. Oh, by the way, this is a picture of a group of Presbyterian pastors that I met there. Okay, and we had a great talk about baptism, about how some Christians get really crazy about defining what's right, what's wrong with baptism. And they all agree that baptism is not like we talk about in church. You know, how you baptize is not important rather than the experience you have in doing so and the reason why you do it. So we had a great discussion on that.
discussion or fight?
No, discussion.
I'm messing
Like
with
there's
you.
one guy here, this guy here, he been baptized 3 times. He baptized as a child. Then when he became a Christian, he got baptized again by immersion. And then in order to enter the ministry, he had to get baptized again. So it's all good. It's all good. So Tony, Reverend Tony Yale, I think I read that right. He is the Southeast Asia version of Rick Warren. He is the pastor of the mega church in Singapore. And he had one of the opening talks or sermons or discussions, wherever I talk about it, of the faith. And he talked about the 3 non-negotiables of generational impact. And he used Joshua 24, 1 through 16 as a guide. Okay. Now I won't go through this real, because we're small here. I won't go through real fast and very high level overview. Okay. But basically, one thing he discussed was that for generational impact, we have to have a personal choice to serve. We make a personal choice to serve. Faith starts with an individual decision to follow Christ. Become a Christian. Okay. But it doesn't stop there. It goes on a bit further. Is that you define who is your boss? Is your customers your boss? Is your partners your boss? Your directors? Or is your manager your boss? Or is it Christ? What's your allegiance to? Is it to the company? Or is it following God? Sometimes, especially here in Manila, in the Philippines, in my case too, in my own practice as well, I find out that sometimes I make a choice. I remember once when I first started out in accounting, I worked for a very large CPA firm, and I was told to manufacture books for one of their larger clients. I refused to do that. Okay, I was fired. Okay, so this is a matter. The fraud and dishonesty happens, no matter in the Philippines, here in the United States, whatever. We have non-Christians involved. That happens. Okay, as a Christian, sometimes I have to make a decision to follow God, and our allegiance is to God, not to the company. Our allegiance is to God, not to our boss. Okay. Sometimes we have a price to pay. Christ has called us to be as promises among other. Well, God has given us a lot of promises, but one of them is that we will be persecuted. That could happen. So, who's your boss? Customers, partners, or directors? And where's our allegiance? Also, the personal decision, personal choice to serve is not an action, but an attitude. It's something that we get to do, not that we have to do. It's not a position or what we do, but who we are. Also, the second non-negotiable is a decisive commitment to serve. It takes an unwavering decision to live out that choice. To have a selfish commitment, not self-serving. Get a selfish commitment, but not self-serving. Sacrificial commitment. It might cost us something. Okay, like I mentioned before. Am I going to give the bribe or not? Am I going to cheat and falsify a tax return or not? A price can be paid by that. Single-minded commitment. Undivided focus. I'm committed to serve. Okay, I'm serving because I want to, because I get to, and I don't have my mind divided as to something else. Alignment. Alignment first with God, and then with the organization. Okay, so if I'm an employee, okay, I gotta be in alignment with the purpose of the organization, providing there's no conflict with my alignment with God. So first align with God, then I'm sure I'm in alignment with my boss or with the purpose of my company. Okay. Again, it's a decisive commitment to serve. Also, you need to have intergenerational communities to serve. We build lasting impact when we serve together across generations. Again, it's community with other generations as well. Okay. Generational impact begins with a personal responsibility and flourishes in the community. And he ended in an African proverb. African proverb is, if you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run far, run together. So anyway, that's this talk. To me, it was very inspiring. Do I remember which left?
Not really. Oh, wait, yeah. You gotta talk about this.
Oh, yeah. Now, after the talk was over with, I can go down to Davao, okay? And Davao, one of the biggest islands in the Philippines, and had a major Japanese contingent there, okay, during World War II, okay. And one thing they did was, and I toured this, it's very interesting. They the Japanese then, during World War II, treated the Philippines as slaves. They were horrible, okay. And they made the Philippines with hand shovels, dug into a mountain 2 miles long and deep. The headquarters of the Japanese Army in Mindanao. Okay. Here is a picture of a jail cell where they put 7 Filipinos in. That's just how bad things were. And this thing here is that also they made it where Americans could not walk in straight up. I mean, it's just high enough, just enough for the Japanese soldiers. Whereas I had to bend down like this, walk through it. They did it on purpose, so when American soldiers would come in and try to kill them, They can knock off the American soldiers, make it difficult for American soldiers. But at the end of the day, they're all going to here anyway, so no big deal. But anyway, I thought it was very fascinating. Anything else?
No, we're missing a picture of your lady, but I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. So anyway, again, it was nice to go back to the Philippines. It felt good to be back there. Even though we have some issues with pollution, like in the Bay I was at, and well as Manila Harbor, other parts of the provinces though are gorgeous. Gorgeous beaches, great places to scuba dive, great places to fish. I think 80% of our shrimp comes from the Philippines. All of Dole products
Yeah.
comes from the Philippines. They have a major, they have supplies of a lot of stuff. Fish as well. So anyway, they have a lot of potential, and I love them a lot.
Cool.
So anyway,
Thank you, John.
any questions?
Yeah, I want to make sure I understood. Are you connected to a mission there that you, like in other words, if you had money donated to you to go there, do you have that ability to help a good mission there?
Well, actually, we don't take the donations. Okay.
Oh, you don't?
No, we don't. The whole idea is to have self-sustaining businesses. Okay, makes a profit and supports itself, and therefore hiring people from the business. So see, there's been a lot of cases where contributions actually hurt people sometimes. Like there's a case where a woman saw a lot of kids without any shoes on. It was a place back in the Caribbean. So she went in and bought shoes for her. Bought trucks of shoes in for people, right? Well, they killed the shoe industry. And so a lot of people are out of shoes, out of work. Okay. So even though she was trying to help, she hurt unintentionally. Okay. So it's really better, I think, in many ways, to go to an area, create jobs for people, so they can be self-sufficient. It helps with their pride and everything else. So in my case, what I do is I made a decision to hire, from now on, people from the Philippines as my accountants. Now, they all have to have a degree in accounting, okay? But the Philippines are known also to be overeducated and underemployed. So I'm hiring people who have college education, I'm giving them good jobs, I'm mentoring them professionally and personally. Okay. With the idea of maybe someday they can come to the United States as an accountant. So I'm trying to change people's lives 1% at a time.
Yeah. Great.
Any other questions? Yeah.
The shrimp, is it farm shrimp or is it natural shrimp?
Oh, it's farm.
So farmy shrimp, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it, they use a lot of chemicals on that and antibiotics, or
No.
they just have a good tide pool that?
Yeah. The fishing there, they have great fishing here. All right. You have a lot of small villages along the coastline of the Philippines. That all they do is they're fishing villages. Okay. And that's how they make their money. So the Philippines is rich in fish.
So it's kind of organic?
Yeah.
Because you hear all these horror stories.
Yeah, and they put the shrimp on planes. That's how they get them here. They'll put them on boats, put them on planes.
Good. I'll enjoy my shrimp better.
Okay.
I just had an observation. You know when you're talking about Tony Ayala and his light thing? I just thought it was really cool because it's like he's bringing the light to the globe. You know,
Yeah.
I just thought that was so cool. The light.
I wish I could remember where I saw it, but I just saw it last week or two on my devotion. and the version of the Bible that we're reading is New Living, and it said something about that somebody should, like what you were talking about, you should be able, other people should be able to observe your answers to prayer without talking about it. And I thought, what does that look like? You know, what sort of life you kept, mentioning, the sort of life you want to live and not to, be involved with the, corruption and stuff like that. And I thought, oh, it'd be so interesting to hear more, and here you brought that, the testimonies of people where they've done it and people have noticed something. Like even the Bible talks about people would say, oh, we can see, your God's powerful. And I'm thinking, well, how did you figure that out? What did that actually look like?
Well, yeah, like that guy here. We'll go back to that.
You want Tony?
Yeah, no, not Tony, the other guy. I can't pronounce his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
The Malaysia guy. Yeah, perfect example of what we're talking about here. Okay, he refuses to take a donation, a bribe. He refuses to give a bribe. He pays his tax. Probably pays more than he should to. He doesn't. If he gave bribes, he pays less in tax. Okay, but he won't do that. He pays total amount he needs to pay in tax. He goes to squeaky clean. Will not give a bribe. And people are talking to him about Christ, about how he behaves.
So you put yourself in danger giving bribes if somebody wanted to say you're bribing.
Back there, it's an unknown, it's a known fact that everyone does that.
Yeah.
Like the CP I talked to, he said that one of the common things happens there, unfortunately, which puts a lot of pressure on him because he won't do it, is that CPAs can get a commission on the amount of money they save a client in an audit. Okay, if the audit comes in and say $1 million, you set up for $500,000, you can get a commission on the $500,000. Okay, here in the United States, I can lose my license for doing that. I can go to jail. All right. So, so here we can't do it, but there they can. Okay. So what happens sometimes is that the agent knows the auditor, the CPA. Okay. The version of the IRS guy comes in, gives this outrageous audit adjustment, okay? And then the CPA talks him down. He gets a commission from the client for the money he saved. And in the process of, they give the auditor a bribe, and the auditor will give the CPA a 5% commission of the bribe.
Corruption all over the place.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's one of the biggest problems with doing business in the Philippines is that they're having a lot at the border with customs. So that's a really big problem that they have in their trade. Okay. Now, big companies like Dole are able to deal with it somehow. Okay. But anyways, that's the guy. Everyone knows that. And they're trying to fix it, but it's part of. It seems to be in Asia as a whole, not just the Philippines, but in Asia as a whole, except for Singapore and Hong Kong, okay, that's common. That's kind of, I don't know. So what they say here at the convention is that we need to bring people to Jesus. The way to get the Philippines out of they want to bring Philippines out of third world status. The way to do that is to preach Jesus. So people will behave differently. Any other questions? All right.
Good
Thank
job.
you much. Thank you much. Thank you much.